In this video, we will be showing how to construct the front placket and collar for a men's shirt. The base of the men's shirt has already been stitched and dressed. For the front placket, we need to identify how the garment closes. Since this is a men's shirt, the placket will be closing left over right. Before adjusting the 3D layers, let's stitch the placket pattern on the left bodice pattern. To stitch the placket to the bodice, there must be an internal line on the front placket. To create the internal line, we align the placket pattern over the bodice, select the edge of the placket, and trace as internal line. Now we stitch the placket to the bodice pattern. We need to ensure that the placket pattern is arranged in the front torso cluster, and that Use in 3D is checked. Here's a tip. When arranging the pattern pieces, the bodice and the placket should be overlapping one another, just as they would be when the garment is fully dressed. Next, we assign the smart buttons of the placket and adjust the 3D layers. The wearer's left bodice should be higher than the right. The placket should be higher than the wearer's left bodice. If you would like to know more about smart buttons, check out the separate video covering smart trims. Now let's dress the garment and finish the simulation. We can use the pinch tool to improve the button simulation. To finish this part, we save a snapshot of the simulation so that we have a reference image showing the garment with the placket stitched. If you would like to know more about snapshots, look out for the video on that topic. The placket is complete. Next, we construct the neckband and collar. We start by arranging the neckband in the back neck cluster, ensuring that Use in 3D is enabled. In the 3D window, we want the prepare position of the neckband to be wrapping all the way to the front. To do so, we enable the constrained area property. Next, we must adjust the collision type. We check the grain line of the neckband and adjust the collision type. In this case, it would be left over right. We can now stitch the neckband to the garment. As always, when doing a multi-stitch, we want the stitching to all go in one direction. If you are not confident about stitching the neckband to the already dressed bodice, try stitching in prepare mode. Instead of dressing, we first return to the placket snapshot. We click the neckband piece and ensure Use in 3D is enabled. Now let's dress the garment. Add a smart button to the neckband. Now we add the collar into the neck cluster and again ensure Use in 3D is enabled. We stitch the neckband to the collar using single stitch. Next, we want to create the collar fold. We start using Clone Edges by Offset along the edge of the neckband. We select the internal line and use the fold property. Then we check that the pattern is folded in the correct direction in the 3D window. Because it's not correct, we invert the fold direction. Now we click Dress to simulate the collar. We can save another manual snapshot before moving to the next steps. And the collar is complete. In this video, you have learned how to construct the collar and placket of a men's shirt. Note that the method used here is not only for a men's shirt, but can be applied to any similar garment with a collar and placket. For more information, visit support.browseware.com.